Now, Jem, I want this podcast to be at the cutting edge, the forefront of video game-related technology. So I'm just trying to figure out how we can make sure that the people who listen to this podcast offline still have to be connected to the server in order to experience it. Otherwise... Sorry, lost my connection for a second there.
Sorry, I'm having buffering issues.
Podcast.
Refresh.
The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem.
G'day and welcome to episode 127 of the Gaming Lovers Podcast. I'm Jem.
I am Brendo, and whew, what a February it has been. 4 in Feb in full swing for 2021.
Woohoo!
Look, it's been successful so far.
Wait. Let me just clarify. 4 in Feb or FUFIF?
All right, we got plenty of feedback from my impromptu acronym that I threw out there with some...
Technically initialization. Because an acronym is when you pronounce it like a word, like LOL, whereas when you say ATM, you're just saying the initials. So, anyways.
All right, in my defense, I did say FUFIF at one point last episode, so it stands. But FUFIF is in full swing, finishing up 4 games in Feb. Now, I said it a lot better structure this time.
Yeah.
Not emphasising the first 2 letters and forgetting what the rest were like I did last episode. I have gotten so many comments about that.
I think it's been one of those accidental moments that's gotten some of the most feedback. Thankfully, pretty much all positive. And people finding it very funny. Whoosh.
Well,
yay.
Yes, sorry, I did need to use the correct terminology. Finish up 4 in Feb, FUFIF, is in full swing for 2021. Success has been had, great games have been played, and, well, let's not beat around the bush here. Let's get straight into gaming goals. 4 in Feb edition. Now, your time will come, darling.
Should I just leave the booth and just
Once
let you gush?
you get rolling, I want you to keep on rolling. But I want to address the issue that we hinted at in the introduction to this podcast. Hitman 3 was my primary target that I was locked onto, ready to slay it. And I really got sunk into this game. Hitman 3... The argument is made it is a short game.
Well, if you only play through each level once, then yes.
Yes, I made the mistake of going into comments sections on Facebook when somebody said, what does everyone think of the new Hitman game? And I thought, I'm enjoying Hitman 3. I'd like to hear what other like-minded people are saying about Hitman 3. No, they were not like-minded people at all. They were complaining the game was too short. I beat it in 5 hours, then returned it. And I'm like, that's not how you play Hitman. That is not how you play Hitman. I have not been doing that. I have put 5 times that amount of gameplay into Hitman.
Yep.
I have accomplished all trophies in the game.
Except
For one, which is preventing me from getting the Platinum trophy because the stupid game is quite full of bugs.
Yes.
Therein lies the issue. I have had a really good time with Hitman 3. It would be #1 contender for Golden Smoochie of 2021, our Game of the Year award here at the Gaming Lovers Podcast. But it's almost taken that crown by default so far. It's like a championship title that some game gets in the first half of the year and has to try to valiantly hold on to it while all these new contenders show up in the October-November rush to try to steal that glory. I don't even know if I want to give it my Golden Smoochie interim championship because these bugs, these online server issues for an offline game, and the fact that trophies are glitched. I hate glitched trophies. I hate glitched achievements. My good buddy the Falcon charged through this game, annihilated it, and was denied the Platinum because he could not get the accolade of doing all mission stories in the Chongqing China map. I said, well, this is going to be a tortoise and the hare situation, isn't it? I'm going to get the platinum before you do, big boy. And then I took my time and I got every single trophy on the way. And then the Mendoza level, Argentina, screwed me over. It was the last one I was going for and it did not pop. And thus I have been denied the platinum trophy and I am furious.
Now, because everything gets loaded up to the Hitman servers so that they can catalogue and compare scores and stuff globally there.
Yep.
Is there a way for them to see that you've completed things and fix that in a patch?
I would assume the triggers are set that should unlock that trophy. Mm-hmm. It's a simple thing of completing the 3 to 4 mission stories in a mission.
Mm-hmm.
They're all ticked, except for one, which is a hidden one, which doesn't get ticked. And I think that's what's stuffing me up. But normally, a game like this, you need to do these 3 mission stories to get the trophy. Oh, I did them all, nothing happened. That's fine. I'll upload my save to PS Plus or stick it on a USB drive. That's fine. I'll back up my save. I'll delete my save and then I'll start afresh, blast through it and pop, there goes the trophy. Everyone's happy. Restore my save. All good. But no, because EO Interactive are determined to make you play online, are determined to have your progress of all your unlockables and mission progress saved on their end, online, the only way I could try and get this trophy to pop is by completely erasing my entire Hitman profile on their end. All my rubber duckies that I've unlocked would be gone. My lockpicks, my grenades, my syringes. That sounds a lot more sinister than it is. It's just poison. It's just poison and things that make you spew. That's all.
Well,
But-
it's supposed
okay,
to
it
be.
is.
You're playing it as an assassin, so it's like...
All my high-tech sniper rifles, my silenced pistols, everything that I have unlocked would be gone forever, not just a quick fix. So to that, I say, Hitman 3, you have been the highest of highs and the lowest of lows in the span of 2 weeks. And here I thought it would be difficult for me to move on from Hitman 3 by the end of the month because I have been dabbling in some of the Hitman 2 and Hitman 1 content. But I was charging ahead at these trophies, and now I got a bitter taste in my mouth. And I don't know if someone poisoned my coffee or if it's just Hitman has upset me. And it is a shame too, because I had such a great time with this game. The creativity and the interesting scenarios and Agent 47's deadpan delivery of very amusing lines when he is undercover, stolen someone's identity, sneaking into a base, and someone's like, oh, by the way, this is a confidential mission. You can't tell anyone what you're about to see in here. And 47 says something like, don't worry, discretion is my specialty. And you're like, yes, it is, because you're an
the
assassin.
soul of discretion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how do you know that line?
Because I watched that scene.
Yeah, you did. As I was trying to pop that trophy for the third time. But the unlockables, I just love games where you unlock things and then you can replay old stuff and have more fun with it because of the things you've unlocked previously. All those little mini challenges to unlock extra stuff. It's just a beautiful cycle of fun, which is dampened by the fact that it does not always unlock the things that you have achieved.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mission story where you tell a sniper that you have found a threat using their earpiece. Take out that target. And they say, no problem. I'm receiving this instruction on a secure earpiece. What could possibly go wrong? I will shoot that person. You set up the kill. You give the order. The person dies. And it says, mission story failed. Even though you've literally just completed the story. Mission story missed. The right target got shot. It's what you wanted me to do. And it says that it's missed the opportunity to do what it just did. It is so confusing. These bugs were certainly not there in this magnitude on Hitman 1 and Hitman 2.
Yeah.
So if you are going to enjoy Hitman 3, either wait a little while until these sort of things get ironed out, or just be aware that these are a possibility. And if you want to try and out-platinum me, you may also run into the same pitfalls.
Mm-hmm.
I had such a good time with it too. So I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Isn't that like parent speak for angry?
It is. So Hitman 3, complete. I have
Well done.
beaten the story. I've gotten all the unlockables that would unlock.
So you have finished in Feb 1. Ding.
I have Foo-Fift, Hitman 3. Finished up 4 in Feb 2021. 1 on the board
Nice.
for Brendo. Now, what about you, Jem? You've been targeting a game that is far too big to have finished this early in the month. So how has your Foo-Fift 4 in Feb, finish up 4 in Feb, been progressing?
So I have been targeting a few different games. Bug Snacks,
Mm-hmm.
Astro's Playroom,
Yes.
Donut County, all pretty short, and my main focus has been Persona 5 Royal because I hit the good stuff.
Ooh.
Endgame story.
Hitting the
and
good stuff.
I beat it. This past fortnight, I steamrolled that sucker. While you have been happily, doing about the same level in Hitman about 50 times, I have been chipping away, even platinuming Persona 5 Royal. Thank you very much.
Wow. All right. I saw how far you were in this game,
Yes.
and I thought, okay, she's got a whole month. Maybe she can do it.
Well, to be fair, there are sections, technically, I think when last fortnight, when we did the last episode, I was in December or January, thereabouts. And the game ends in March. If you choose correctly, you can get an early bad end. And some of those last months, they skip through quite a few dates. They just go to key dates. So like Valentine's Day and White Day, obviously very important days in Japan, like special holidays for dates and such. So you get to experience those if you've, done everything right. But oh my goodness. These games seriously know how to make me cry. And I know I can cry easily. But there's just one moment where I've never really been tempted before to side with a quote unquote bad guy. Like normally when you're standing the line, you're like, no, we are in the right. This is the right path to take, as if I'm going to accept your offer, bad guy.
Yep.
But I have never, ever been more tempted to accept this deal because I'm like, no, I kind of agree with you. There's flaws in it, but you know what? A part of me really wants to say yes and accept this fake reality business and
Now, this is where things get complicated on this podcast.
I'm trying not to
because
do spoilers.
We are spoiler free, not only for your benefit out there, dear listeners, but for Jem's husband's benefit. I realised just how good this game is based purely off your reaction to whether I should play it. Because I've played through the
Vanilla
first
one, yeah.
Persona 5. No problem. I've played through that entire game. I know everything there is to know about Persona 5 Vanilla. The expanded Persona 5 Royal version. I said, look, maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't, but we'll see. And so when you started to get new characters showing up, and new scenes showing up, new social links,
Improved social links.
yeah, I'm sort of just walking in and out of the room going, oh, who's this? Okay, cool. Who's this person? What's going on in this? This is fun. Just having a bit of, casual, I don't care if I get spoiled, it's all good. And you were like, oh, okay, this plot point happened, this plot point happened. I'm like, cool. Good to know some new stuff is developing. That's good. It's very exciting to know.
I'm glad I told you stuff early on, but as it got further into the story, I'm like, yeah, no, get out.
Then the switch flipped and I was shooed out of the room at various moments. And if I tried to duck in to get my phone charger, you would say, spoilers, 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 spoilers. And I'm like, I don't know what, am I getting spoiled? Am I not getting spoiled? I thought I wasn't caring if I got spoiled in this game. You're like, no, you have to play this.
I need to know if you get the same emotional response that I had to the end, or if it's just me. I don't know. If anyone else has played Persona 5 Royal, I would really love to know what you thought. let's chat because I need someone to talk to about it. I'm still not quite over it yet.
Okay.
I'm a little sad.
So I
Like,
can't be
satisfied,
there
but-
for you
No.
emotionally until I play Persona 5 Royal, 150 hours, whatever it's going to be. You realise the whole point of this year's 2021's 4 in Feb was to finish up games, clear them off the slate,
Yeah.
and you're adding a 150-hour game to my plate.
It was always on your backlog.
I'm going to come out of this in negative profit, my 4 in Feb. I'm going to come out of it with more backlog than I went into it.
Hopefully you won't have as many hours. To be fair, some of those hours were racked up letting it sit on the menu while I, had to deal with Player 3 back when I first started, and I was kind of playing it, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there
Yep.
while he was playing at my feet. And then when the PlayStation moved rooms, it had to be for more set, concentrated gameplay time. So then it wasn't as wasteful as far as sitting on a menu.
No, I get you.
But yeah, even so, it is mammoth. Like, the original game itself was a beast. Persona games are never short. Not even like their fighting or dancing games are short games. There is a lot of dialogue. And I think that puts some people off. Like, if they're not into stories, then they'll just rush through and then they won't understand why people love them so much.
To be fair, who's going to a dancing rhythm game for a story? Not many people, I imagine.
We are, because we love Persona. And they put it into everything. Like, especially the first one had such a deep story, my word.
Yeah.
That said, yeah, Persona 5 Royal was amazing. 10 out of 10.
Well worth
Even
the
if you've
time,
played the original Persona 5, worth playing, and easy to platinum the first run through. You can't really do that with the original PlayStation Persona 5. I was going to say PlayStation 5.
Well, to be fair, if I do play through Persona 5 Royal, I will be using a guide. I
Yes.
will be using an easy difficulty so I can just get through as easily as possible. And I think the defining moment in that decision was when I saw the snippet of one of the final palaces that I saw you with the multicolored bridges, and I thought, I cannot be bothered trying to figure that out that late into a game.
It was a little tiring. It's not so hard to figure out what color combos you need to create to make a bridge, because it's basically using primary color principles. You learn that stuff very early on in primary school, right? Or elementary, depending on where you go to school.
Dear Watson. Dear Watson Elementary, that's where I went.
It's more just remembering the order of what needs to be activated and deactivated to get to where you need to get to. That part was like, oh my gosh, I'm too tired for this. But yes, I also beat the Reaper, and I usually don't even engage with that boss fight in other Persona games because it is so hard. Like, it's, he can insta-kill your whole party very easily. But yeah, by the end I was level 99 and we were pretty much unstoppable, so that was fun.
And most importantly, after you had 99,999,999 yen and you entered a 500 yen lottery and won the large amount of 300 yen. And
But
you
it popped me a trophy, and that's what matters.
you got a trophy
At the
for
last
winning the
second.
lottery, but you lost money on it.
Yes, 200 yen.
Just like real life.
Yes, very much so.
Wowee.
But I needed that. That was one of my last ones. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the one thing that could trip me up from getting the platinum right at the end. Because I didn't realize, I didn't look at the trophy list until like much later in the game to try to clean up and see, okay, what do I still need to pop to get this? And I'm like, what's easy money? And I'm looking at, how do I win the lottery? You're like, where was the lottery? And they're like, oh, you should do this, pretty early in the game and get a ticket because it's timed.
It takes 7
7
days
days in
the
game.
game. You
And I'm
can't
like,
just quickly do it.
Like, oh no, do I have enough game days left to be able to do this? And like in the nick of time, literally the last normal playable day where you can dictate where you go was the day that I won.
Phenomenal work.
So it worked out. It's done. So yes.
Jem now has no life direction because such a large part of her day-to-day is now gone.
Well, I still have to finish up 3 other games in Feb.
Excellent.
So the beefy one, right now is looking like Astro's Playroom because I really don't want to do that boss fight.
It's all you have left is the final boss.
In that, and then it's done, and then I can tick it off, but I got mad at it, and I don't want to.
Well, you do have a traumatic past when it comes to large T-Rex dinosaurs. So maybe it's just a psychological barrier we have to push through.
Have you beaten any others? Or finished up, I should say.
Well, I have not, but I have been putting a lot of time, where possible, into, on the Nintendo Switch, Paradise Killer. Game I gave a little bit of description on last fortnight. Still, I can't squash that old habit of saying last week. It is difficult to explain.
Muzakashi.
Very, very much so. It is an open-world investigation detective game on an island. Perfect paradise. All these perfect paradise realities are made, and they are never quite perfect. They always fall apart, and the syndicate that build them then have to build another one and move everyone onto it. So these perfect little utopias get invaded by demons and corruption, and then they fall apart. And in this one, my goodness, the whole council has been killed. Who has done it? You have these 8 or so very strange characters that you are trying to interrogate as a detective. And of course, a common name for detectives is Lady Love Dies. It's just standard for the naming conventions in this game. You have Sam Daybreak, you have Yuri Knight, you have Witness to the End, you have many, many strange character names. Every character has a lot to say. And in true detective fashion, the entire island can be explored in a semi-open world. Just walk and find things. And I thought at one point in this game, okay, we've got our mystery. The council's being killed. Is this going to be like a Phoenix Wright? And once we solve that and have a trial about that, is it going to be another mystery? Or is that all there is? Is it a short game? Is it a long game? I don't even know. As I've continued on, this game has been so large and interconnected with different plot points that it has gone from me saying maybe 10 hours ago, okay, this is pretty cut and dry. I know exactly who did this. I know exactly how they did it. And that means the end of the game's pretty darn close. But no, I have gotten so much evidence, and you pick up not only physical evidence that you have to examine, but different people's testimonies about every little point keep refreshing with fresh info. So you'll talk to person A, they'll say, oh, I know this about person B. So you go to person B and they're like, oh, yes, well, I saw C and D together near the crime scene. And did you know that A has this special ability or item? I'm just being vague so I don't give away any specifics.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to go back to A and say, oh, I heard about this with you. And they're like, well, person F and I can do that together. So it's like, okay, now I've got to, hang on, which one was I up to? Thankfully, all this is logged in the game very well. You have a list of loose ends to tie up. It is phenomenal. And the plot is at the degree of like a Zero Escape style complexity.
And ridiculous names.
And you can walk around the island in 3D and find crystals for fast traveling and all sorts of fun stuff.
So the question is, did you finish it up?
No, I didn't. Not yet. But I am in progress of playing it, which is why it's being brought up at Gaming Goals. Yes. And let me tell you, if there was ever anything that's going to take that interim Golden Smoochie Award for 2021 off of Hitman's lifeless body who's glitching on the floor, it's going to be Paradise Killer. Because it is 100% a Brendo game.
That is until the new Pokemon Snap comes out.
Well, there are some big games coming out this year. So it's going to be a very hot, it's going to be like the 24/7 title. It's going to be hot potatoed around.
Hot name.
Like a ridiculous amount of times. But yeah, as soon as I read about Paradise Killer, I didn't want to read about Paradise Killer anymore because I thought this is a Brendo game. They don't come around all the time. This is 100% my favourite type of game, and it has lived up to the hype, and my pathetic attempts to explain it have probably failed miserably because it doesn't sound that exciting, but it is wonderful, and I love the soundtrack. I've said it every episode since I've started playing this game. I love the soundtrack so much. And hopefully, by next episode, I will have solved all the mysteries. Because
all the mysteries of all time.
yes, because you start
Where
off
did Stonehenge come from?
Bunnings, the local hardware store. It comes in a DIY set. They just sort of lost interest halfway.
Right.
Yeah, it starts off with just this one mystery, but then you got other mysteries that start to unravel, and it all starts to stack up together. And each individual mystery has a row of the character heads, and the more evidence that goes towards one person, the higher their number is on that one crime or mystery. And so you can have multiple people who could potentially have done it, but what does the evidence point to? Who does it stack up against more? And does that necessarily mean it was them? I don't know.
I guess you'll find out.
I'm looking forward to finding out. It's exciting.
Is that all that you have started, or have you dabbled in any of your other games?
No, the other ones are yet to be actually really sunk into. I did reinstall, or I guess not even reinstall. I did install Ghost of Tsushima onto our PS5 just to see how it ran, as I intend on finishing the last third of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And my good buddy the Falcon was over, and even he said, this looks phenomenal because it runs so darn well on the PS5. So I'm very excited to get back into that. And the only other game was potentially the Medium, but that had an asterisk next to it.
Mm-hmm.
I said I would play that if it was worth playing.
How will you know unless you play it?
Average review scores have not been excessively generous towards the Medium.
It's never stopped you with Sonic.
It has not.
But then this isn't a Sonic game.
It is not. And so I have agreed to play that with my good buddy the Falcon at some undetermined future point, which means I'm playing that substitute card, and Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice will be part of my foreign fed.
What about Sonic Boom? Did you ever play that?
We don't talk about Sonic.
Don't worry.
Even I have standards.
We'll be back as we talk about video game theme parks. We wish we could go to USJ and experience Super Nintendo World. More about that next.
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side, and you could be featured in the next podcast.
If ever there were a time that I am so sad that international borders are pretty much shut everywhere, it is now, because Universal Studios Japan in Osaka has finally opened Super Nintendo World. And people are sharing videos and photos of their time, and I am super jealous. Oh, it looks amazing.
I want to go.
I want to go too. Thankfully, those that live in the US, you lucky ducks, you will be getting versions of that as well at the Universal Studios in Hollywood as well as Florida. So you're covered.
It's very exciting. I mean, having the idea of a video game theme park with full set dressing, attractions, rides, snacks, the works.
Yes.
That's the dream. To
and
live and breathe a video game world in real life.
Japan does it very well. I mean, some of those snacks in that look amazing and just so cute. And the interactiveness as well, they've thought of everything. I imagine that space being constantly busy for at least a decade into the future. I don't imagine it ever not being bustling with fans and excited gamers like us. Oh. Anyways, it got me thinking, we've always speculated about how amazing it would be if, there was a theme park based on other stuff that we love.
Yep.
And one that always comes back to me is Pokemon. And there was a Poke Park in Japan for a very short time. It didn't last very long.
I can't believe that something as prolific as Pokemon in Japan flunked.
I don't know. I think, honestly, a big part of a success is, how it's done. If it's done cheap and dodgy, then it's not going to last very well. But also, I believe that PR is a big chunk of that, like people's awareness of that. I didn't even realize they had one until we found out it was closing. Things like that would have made me maybe want to travel there a lot earlier than we did. But that said, things like attaching Super Nintendo World to an established thing like Universal means It's got the chance to have longevity compared to it being a small-time gimmick thing, which may, the attraction and the appeal may wear off after some time. So things like Galaxy's Edge at Disney, where you add on a section which is very immersive, has a couple of rides and attractions and specialized food. I was like, well, if we could create from different video games, what video games would we want to immerse ourselves in and literally physically walk through a recreated version of that in real life. Mm-hmm. So I've already said Pokemon. I would love that to be done properly. I would love to be able to interact with Pokemon and, have photos and eat cutesy food and, go to a Pokemon beauty parlor thingy. Like, how they've got all those funny shops when you go into towns?
Yep.
Like, experience that and experience different sections like the wilds and different fun towns. Pallet Town.
What if there was like a Pokemon Snap ride? Similar to like Toy Story Midway Mania. But instead of shooting targets, you're taking photos of quickly fleeting across the screen Pokemon.
That could
the
be
more
fun.
you hit, the more points you get.
That's awesome.
How cool would that be?
Be very, very cool. There's a lot of things that you could adapt to work with that too. And things like in Universal Studios, or most theme parks in general these days have them now, the motion moving cars that move through a soundstage that have big screens for like immersive. It's more like 4D than 3D because you have the wind and you have water splashing you at points and stuff too.
We're up to at least 7.3D.
But like the Transformers ride at Universal and Spider-Man, those kind of rides could work well for that too, where you're moving through and, Mewtwo might be trying to attack you and then, seeing Pokemon battles break out as you're moving through the space. It could start off really tranquil and then get more and more crazy as you go along. See, I get so excited just thinking like, why hasn't someone made this yet?
Well, part of me wants to not be the one to bring this up, but my first thought is, of course, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
Because there is so much thematically of some levels, like Carnival Night Zone. Mm-hmm. There's even a world in Sonic Unleashed called Eggman Land, and it's among the most arduous journeys you'll ever do in a Sonic game because the level literally takes an hour.
Wow.
And to get the best ranking, you cannot die, including during some stupid platforming sections as a werehog. But that's neither here nor there. If we were going to have a Sonic attraction, it would have to be the roller coaster.
Oh, yes.
Loop-the-loops, corkscrews. You could have Eggman chasing you. You're going fast. You are rolling around, maybe not at the speed of sound, but awfully close.
You could borrow concepts from Disney California Adventure, the Incredicoaster. It has a story going on while you're on the coaster and you've got speakers near your head. So there's dialogue happening and there's little sections like tunnels that you go through and stuff that interacts as you go through that part of the track.
Yeah.
So that could work out really well too, where you're like collecting coins and you could hear them ding 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 ding.
Wait, stop. Collecting what?
I'm sorry, rings.
Sorry?
Collecting rings.
What do you think this is, Super Nintendo World? I've already put thought into this. What if you had like mist, yeah, and you got projections of rings? You know how they do the projections of a
Yes.
mist?
Yes.
And as you go through on your roller coaster, it makes the little bling next to your head. And that would be cool. And then when you get 50 of them and you've got all the Chaos Emeralds, the roller coaster can boost into supersonic mode and away you go. Everything starts glowing yellow. Crush 40 rock music starts hitting. Yeah! It'd be... I'm embarrassed now at how into this I'm getting.
And of course, you would have to have Sonic walking around to take your photo with him. So there is technically Sonic attractions at the Sega little indoorish park.
Joyopolis.
Yes, Odaiba. Fun, but it's very... it feels a little more arcadey.
Yeah.
The stuff in there. I mean, there is a full-on roller coaster in there that was pretty intense. That was Tokyo Ghoul, and it had a rhythm game built into it, which was just not what I was ready for.
Trying to do a rhythm game on a roller coaster was a bit complex.
I mean, for someone that is I feel like a veteran when it comes to roller coasters, so it was nice to have a new challenge to to throw me. But yes, I suck at rhythm games. It takes me quite a while to get used to them. So my score, especially because we were riding on with other Japanese and they thrashed us. But the Sonic ride, well, it wasn't really a ride. It was an attraction. It was basically treadmills. And it was a race. And you played as different Sonic characters. And I think you got to play as Sonic, right?
I
when
did.
You did. And... there were several rounds. So by the end of it, you were trashed. You were so exhausted.
I may have put a little more effort into it than one should have, but I came second overall after completely whiffing one of the events, so that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Now-
you were going up against a bunch of strange teenagers, so your pride was on the line.
Now, one other idea, of course, when I think amusement parks and I think video games, I think dilapidated horror sites because you cannot have a horror game without it featuring an abandoned amusement park. Now, if we had a haunted house or something similar, you have no shortage of options available to you. You could have the Silent Hill experience where things start off in a normal sort of just a bit creepy, maybe like a school or a hospital, just a bit creepy.
PT corridor.
And then you go into like a revolving door thing and you pop out and it's the exact same place you just were, but now it's made of rusty metal and flappy paint walls and flappy paint, peeling.
Flappy paint.
Hashtag flappy paint. Yeah, you could have creatures behind. They could be animatronics or they could be real people. They do that there.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Another perfect example.
I mean, I would never go there, but it would work.
If you want something more along the lines of an augmented reality experience, you could have Project Zero or Fatal Frame, depending on where you're from, with ghosts you're trying to take photos of. It's like the evil version of the Pokemon Snap ride we just mentioned.
Yeah.
So
Here is your nappy for your ride.
plenty of options. You could have a Resident Evil escape room with a mansion, and you have to work with people to do puzzles together, but that might take a bit more setup. I don't know how much time issues that would have. But the idea, there's so many great video game horror sights to see in the amusement park world. I think it's a perfect addition to our dream amusement park.
All right.
Or nightmare amusement park.
I think I've got a perfect pitch for Disney because it's already using Disney characters, but it would also tap into another market which would help maybe bring back some more teen fans again to the parks, like an age that spends quite a lot of money, I think, in theme parks, and that is Kingdom Hearts.
Oh,
Because it's already Disney.
will there be sea salt ice cream?
You could have sea salt ice cream. How amazing would that be? And they could charge a fortune for it and you would still be happy.
That's all you need to say. I'm all in on this. The whole Final Fantasy side of Kingdom Hearts opens up even more opportunities because Final Fantasy VII in particular has the Gold Saucer. It has its own amusement park. Chocobo races,
Oh my goodness.
a Ferris wheel. You can go on dates with Barrett if you do play your cards right.
Even just having a chill, slow-moving ride, even if it's like Pirates of the Caribbean where you're just, in a boat and following the story along, I would still be down for that. As I've gotten older, I appreciate those rides more because you just want to sit
your
down. You just want an excuse to sit down but not feel like you're wasting time at a theme park, right?
Yeah.
And so having a long, chill ride is really good. And there is so much story. Like you could start to unravel the huge tangled web that is Kingdom Hearts, or at least go back to its roots.
I don't think anyone has the ability to do that. We'll find out in the future, won't we?
But yeah, that could be a fun flume ride.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And the benefit of Kingdom Hearts, if it was linked to a Disney landscape, is that you can just... What's Winnie the Pooh doing at the moment? Nothing. Just send him to the Kingdom Hearts area. He can interact with fans.
It could
What's
be any-
Captain Hook up to? Send him. Give him a high one.
Oh, just be prepared to get stabbed with a hook. But yes, that would be cool because you could use any character really because so many have been featured in those games.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing. And why has Disney not already partnered with Square Enix to do this? You know, like it seems stupid to me.
Probably money. That's usually the reason why these things don't happen.
True.
Also is the reason why a lot of these things do happen.
Mm.
Now, what if we had like an Expedition Everest, but with Uncharted or Tomb Raider, and you're climbing a mountain and there's a Yeti and you're trying to find treasure? Or we could have a Donkey Kong Country minecart roller coaster. I'm just stuck on all the roller coaster ideas. I've got so many of them.
Roller coasters are awesome. If you were to come up with a rapids type ride, what video game would lend itself to that, you think?
Wave Race 64. No, I think, yeah, Donkey Kong theming on that would be perfect because you could have music, you could have little
It'd
kremlings.
be like being in a barrel.
Perfect.
A Donkey Kong barrel.
Yep, everyone's in a barrel. You got creatures popping out of the woods. You got all these animal companions making their appearance. You got Donkey Kong music going. Cranky Kong sitting on his rocking chair, just looking at you, just as you float past him. So many options.
Very fun.
Why aren't we building this?
We should be writing these down and then like patenting, copywriting our ideas.
This is our call to arms. If you are a millionaire listening,
Or an Imagineer.
just send us money.
Well, I was going to say take the ideas and put them into your parks because then we'll go. You know, not that we weren't already.
Then we don't have to run it. What about the video game theme park? Where within the theme park you build your own theme park. That way, as the attraction, people can do our work for us in constructing this theme park.
That sounds like just a little area of Epcot where you're building your own things, like one of the little stands that they have.
Rigorous safety testing
Or
must
had.
be taking place too.
Well, yes. Yes. Things can go very badly if things are not followed. But let's not go into that.
What
we're having
about
fun.
a blacklight Pac-Man maze with ghosts that are trying to eat you until you get a power pill, and then you can attack them?
It just sounds like kids that have just been given sugar and go hyper, and then you start chasing the adults.
Could be like a blacklight hall of mirrors. What could possibly go wrong?
What is the new game that's coming out? Which is kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Grounded.
Grounded.
Be cool.
That would be very fun. Just have like a whole section where you've got giant blades of grass and things like that. Even if it was just more like a playground area, just to walk through and play and experience and feel tiny. That could be fun.
Oh, so many good ideas. So many good
One
ideas.
that I would love, and I know will probably never happen, but it seems on point given the whole Mass Effect is kind of in the news at the moment. I've always wanted, and I've always said if I could be in that game, I would want to go to the Citadel and just walk around. And I think that would be really rad, like to have like different sections, you know, walking through the different wards and seeing all of the different alien races and the food and just the atmosphere. And yeah, it would be fun. And then you could do like a taxi cab type race deal with Joker, and he would be driving his little car and you would be driving or racing one, maybe very similar to the Millennium Falcon that they have at Galaxy's Edge, where each person's kind of doing different buttons and controls and stuff like that, working as a team, and that kind of motion simulator deal. That could be fun.
So many great ideas. It's almost like these video games have incredible worlds. Imagine a... All right. What about Horizon Zero Dawn? With big dinosaurs chasing you. I just think... I got so many ideas for like the... like your Transformers ride, where you've got the moving vehicle and stuff. You could be in a Horizon Zero Dawn world. Or you could be in a Halo Warthog with the Covenant attacking you. It'd be phenomenal. Why aren't all these video game companies working together to make us happy? How dare they just let us play games in our lounge rooms? I want to live it.
To be fair, a lot of rides these days have taken on an interactive element where they feel a bit video game-ish. And some of the ones that we go back and play over time and time again are like the ones like Men in Black and the Buzz Lightyear spin, where you shoot targets and you have a competitive score.
Yeah.
We would do that repeatedly until our hands died. And that is very video game-ish, you know, as far as having those elements to bring in, so that way you've got it appealing to multiple people. As far as real immersion, though, I think a lot of places are stepping it up. I think of like the Harry Potter Wizarding Worlds as well. And not just like walking around Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley and all of that. Like, they feel incredibly real, but the rides are probably some of my favorite theme park rides, full stop, because of just, I mean, they're fun roller coasters, but they're also just, you feel like you've been sucked into that world.
Yep.
And I've yet to really experience much else that kind of gives me that experience. So that's kind of the pinnacle I would love to see brought to other stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to one day, I'm going to be positive and say one day we will get to go on the Mario Kart ride.
We will.
And
we will.
In the meantime, I will just have to enjoy the point of view videos on YouTube.
And I will not be enjoying them because... Spoilers.
Oh, come on.
As my final pitch, if you want immersion, if you want realism, if you want to live a video game experience at a theme park, how's this for an idea? What about if you apply for 7 or so years of college, and then you can finally take the bar, and then you can do the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney experience, where you get to argue in a courtroom trying to defend idiots against crimes they didn't actually commit.
But you've got half an hour to do the case.
I don't think Phoenix Wright did 7 years of court, personally. 7 years of college or whatever. Phoenix Wright is the embodiment of someone who looks like they just lied on their resume and got the job and then goes, well, now what do I do?
Wasn't there a Phoenix Wright attraction at the Sega Joyopolis, or was that just
It was
figures?
just some theming.
Okay. Because I felt like we saw something there, and now I couldn't remember if it was a ride or not. I thought before you started going on about Phoenix Wright that you were going to be a smart aleck and say, you know, you could live life, you could pay bills, you could slowly renovate your house, you could then create a pool that has, you know, a ladder and then suddenly no ladder, and then you can't get out of the pool. You know, The Sims. Oh, dear. I would love to know if there are any video games that you would love to see brought, whether it's a full-on park or just a ride that you think would be amazing to see brought to life somewhere in the world. Hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or at thegaminglovers.com. This is the kind of thing I could gush about and speculate about for hours, but we'll leave it there. We've got some games to finish up in Feb. So let's look at what we're going to focus on this coming fortnight after this.
Share the love. Follow us on Twitter at Brendo Jem. That's BRENDOJEM.
Well, my dear, what is going to get your focus now that the monstrous Persona 5 Royal is done and dusted? 3 titles left, all
Fanfic. No, I mean,
Excuse me? Some sort of DLC I haven't heard about?
I'm not quite over Persona 5 Royal. It's one of those games that I'm going to be thinking about, even though I'm playing other games. I'll just be like, was this real or was this real? What is real? So I think Donut County is supposed to be really short, so I might try to like knock that out quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then depending on my mood, we'll see which thing I want to be frustrated by first. With Bugsnack puzzles or a boss fight that I will inevitably lose about 50 times.
We'll keep a tally. Place your bets on the over-under of how many times Jem has to try this boss.
I legit think that's going to take me the longest.
I think you will get it within 10 tries.
Oh, someone's overconfident in my abilities.
Well,
What are you going to be
it's my
playing?
job as your husband.
What are you going to be playing?
I'll be wrapping up Paradise Killer, probably while I co-pilot you in Bugsnax to help you out with some puzzles.
Appreciate it.
And apart from that, I might take out the shorter, more narrative-based Hellblade first, and then round out the rest of the month with Ghost of Tsushima's final act.
Nice.
So I think that would be a smart choice. That way I'll feel like I make more progress. So looking at about 7 to 8 hours on howlongtobeat.com for Hellblade. It's achievable in a couple of nights, and then the rest of the month will be Tsushima time in the snow. It's all just white and windy. So Paradise Killer, I'm so pumped to actually get to the trial because I've done a lot of detecting. And I don't even understand how I found some of the things I found in that game because I found them without any leads. I was just snooping around the island, found a thing on the ground. I'm like, what's this? Oh, it's an important plot piece. I wonder if I would have been directed to that at some point. I don't know. Maybe I'm just naturally a really good detective. Good stuff. Let's go and finish up some games that we intend on finishing up in Feb, in 2021.
Let's.
I don't even know what the acronym to that would be, but not even going to try it after last time.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Chowski!
Sayonara.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.